The Jewish Week on JN1.
In the last 7 days in the Jewish world, it's been Fashion Week in Tel Aviv. Israeli ladies have stripped off. The ADL take on TV with a dodgy title. And saluting the Hebrew hammer. Baseball star Ryan Braun wins MVP. After 2 years of preparation and strong backing from friends in Italian haute couture, the first Tel Aviv Fashion Week in 30 years took centre stage in the image-conscious neighbourhood of Neve Tzitzek. For 3 days, media, models and designers showcased the best of Israeli and Italian fashion. Roberto Cavalli, the leading Italian fashionista, headlined the show and featured his Spring 2012 collection. The 71-year-old hit designer also admitted to a lifelong love for Israeli girls. The show was a surefire success, prompting plans for 2 fashion weeks next year and proving that when fashion talks, it can be a great ambassador for Jewish and Tel Aviv style. Would you argue with the sisters in Israel? 40 Israeli women came out this week in a bare-cheeked show of support for young Egyptian blogger Aliyah El-Mahdi by posing nude for a group photograph. The ladies carried signs and banners saying "Show you are not afraid" and "Love without limits." 20-year-old university student El-Mahdi had already sparked an uproar, drawing condemnations from Egyptian conservatives and liberals, and had drawn the attention of millions the world over by placing a naked photo of herself on her website. She said her provocative demonstration was to protest the oppression and limited freedom of women in Egypt. Comments on Israeli and international newspapers and blogs about the Israeli group's statement suggested that their saucy decision was as controversial as the pic that inspired the strip. Archaeological excavations along the West Wall have unearthed a remarkable find. Jerusalem's top historical remodeler, King Herod, was not behind this iconic building project. The dig, a joint effort between the University of Haifa, the Israel Antiquities Authority, the Elad Association, and the Nature and Parks Authority, showed that it was in fact Herod's heirs, Agrippa I and II, who put the wall up after the famous builder's demise. In the first modern scientific excavation of the lowest level of the wall, new evidence shows it was probably designed to increase the surface area of the mount to hold thousands of pilgrims, plus their animal sacrifices, on festivals like Shavuot, Sukkot, and Passover. By unearthing the foundations, where they found several coins, including one from 17 AD, archaeologists have proved that the Jewish people only had 20 years to enjoy Herod's renovated temple and the freshly paved streets of what has now become one of the world's most famous sacred sites. After a close analysis of slugging, baseball's National League has voted to give this season's MVP award to Jewish Milwaukee left fielder Ryan Braun. In typically modest style, Braun told press that he came out on top ahead of LA Dodgers player Matt Kemp because he was lucky enough to be playing in a better team, and that injury had forced his rival out of the limelight. Meanwhile, sports critics said that if it hadn't been for Ryan, the Milwaukee Brewers wouldn't have won their first division title in 30 years. The Hebrew hammer, who also won Rookie of the Year as a 23-year-old in 2007, confessed to reporters that he was nervous about the National League's decision. Braun signed a $105 million contract back in April, binding him to the Brewers for the next 8 seasons. His MVP status will bring in an extra $100,000 bonus, but whatever the cost, Milwaukee will be glad to hang on to their star Jewish hitter. The Anti-Defamation League has been busy again. This week's main itch to scratch has been an Indian television network, who the ADL have demanded change the name of one of its new programmes. Hitler Didi, a soap opera airing 5 times a week on ZTV, is about a girl with too much on her plate and caused offence primarily for its name. ADL campaigners said the producers had made a terrible error of judgment and that the taint of the Nazi Holocaust was unacceptable for light-hearted entertainment. ZTV, which is the highest-rating South Asian channel in the US, said it had not yet released an official statement on the issue. Meanwhile, the ADL also took time to have a go at vodka. A billboard advertising a Polish brand of the strong spirit with the slogan "Christmas quality, Hanukkah pricing" was removed from a New York City street following claims that the crude and offensive message was anti-Semitic. Drinks company Vodka, which calls itself a brand for everybody, said it had no interest in offending potential customers. 22-year-old Christian Palestinian Huda Nakash has been chosen to strut her stuff for Israel in next month's Miss Earth competition. Nakash, an archaeology and geography student from Haifa, has only been modelling for 2 years, but her striking looks and strong beliefs have been creating a storm in the Israeli media after she became the first Arab model to pose in a bikini for Lilac magazine. Lilac's editor said Nakash was a true professional, whose work meant that an Israeli Arab model represents both Jewish and Arab women for Israel. If she wins the contest next month, Nakash, whose interests include aerobics, swimming and dancing, said she will use her position as Miss Earth to further the cause of Israeli-Palestinian peace. And finally, bags at the ready, it's time to shop. Black Friday may be behind us, but organisers of a new campaign in the US are calling on consumers to keep their wallets hot in support for Israel. The first Buy Israel Week is the brainchild of a marketer from New York who conceived the drive to bring shoppers to retailers with a focus on products from Israel and stem the flow of damage from pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel actions. The organisers said that while not everyone can fly to Israel or march on Congress, people could still make a purchasing decision which would reduce the impact of the BDS movement, which continues to hit Israeli businesses hard. The campaign will run all next week, starting on Monday. And if you haven't blown all your dollars on Black Friday, take a look at buyisraelweek.com for more Israel-friendly information.